My name is Dr. Julia Schmidt, and I lead the CEDAR Brain Injury Lab. Our lab is based at GF Strong Rehabilitation Centre and associated with the University of British Columbia in Vancouver. Our lab collaborates with people with brain injuries, community associations, healthcare providers, and policymakers to understand the experience of brain injury and develop programs to support quality of life, personally meaningful goals, and relevant health-related outcomes after brain injury. So one of our projects aimed to understand the impact and feasibility of peer support for people with brain injury. We partnered with Nanaimo Brain Injury Society for the study, and then we developed a video to show the results and the impact of this study in partnership with local filmmakers from Rural Focus. The video features stories from Ronny Lekx and Kevin Gulbranson, who were participants in our research. In the video, they share about the impact of peer support, both as a provider, so a peer support worker in Ronny's case, and someone who receives peer support, so someone who's relatively new to brain injury in the case of Kevin. So we hosted an event to screen the video, and then we also had a panel discussion to hear more from Kevin and Ronny and myself. The video shows the panel discussion from the event.
For our opening questions, what was the experience like making the video? How did you feel? Were there any awkward or funny moments? Do you want to go first?
Oh yeah. Wow. Sorry, I gotta work through the nerves first to get going. It's funny moments. I think anytime you're on camera, even at this moment here, it's I can't recall very much, but
Anything about the hero shot? You get to stand.
yeah, the hero shots at the end there. I think actually the funniest part, if I'm completely honest, is how long it took me to get dressed for it. Going through probably 5 different shirts, 5 different pairs of pants, my socks had to match my shirt. So nervous. And that was the only way. I'm like, I gotta be perfect. Now I realize too, I'm wearing the same shirt as the video.
All right. Yeah, I would say it was such an enjoyable experience, especially seeing Julia and Janna and Ronny in person, not just behind a computer screen anymore, which is really, really nice. There were nothing really awkward about the experience. I would say we avoided a little bit of awkwardness by not stand-up paddleboarding at the end of winter. That would have been really, really cold to go out in March, April, and get wet. So, but yeah, overall it was a really, really enjoyable experience, I'd say.
I had the same wardrobe things that you had, Ronny, where I was like, what to wear? But even today, I was like, I cannot wear that outfit because I know I'm going to be in an extreme. I mean, it's not often that researchers are outside their offices and outside their video, like their computer screen, but it was very intimidating, but also very fun to be able to showcase our research and yeah.
I think this mic is still on, so I'll use this one.
Okay.
If you could describe the program in one word, what would it be and why? Anyone who comes up with an answer first.
I've got the mic, I guess. Janna luckily sent us a script beforehand, and I tried very hard not to look, not to rehearse, not to script these beautiful, eloquent answers. I'm really regretting that now because rolling with it was not as smart as I thought it would be. But if there's one word that really stood out of the entire peer support program is community. And really, to elaborate on that, just knowing you're not alone and that there's other people who have experienced such a similar experience with its own unique challenges. There you go.
Yeah, that's good. I didn't take the Ronny approach, and I wrote down my answers in case I black out and I can't remember what I'm going to say. So I would say it's a word to describe peer support is another C word that is an extension of community. It's connection, and the connection that you build in peer support is really, really important and impactful. There's no one that can actually relate to you about your experience than someone else that has gone through it themselves. So being able to talk to someone outside of, you know, my therapies and just to have a friendship with was so important, and to really connect with them. So yeah.
And I think you can all agree with me that after hearing them say what their experience was, I would say essential is the word I would use. Essential after a brain injury, after a life event like this, very traumatic. Of course, clinicians, like as Janna said, I'm an occupational therapist by training. As clinicians here, very important roles that clinicians play, but equally important is somebody with lived experience to say, like, here's some hope. This is what life can be like. Life does move on. So,
great, thank you. And I'll get you to hold on to the mic because your next question's for you. What inspired you to develop the peer support research project?
Yeah, as I said, like all of our research is partnered research, and by building networks and relationship with the Nanaimo Brain Injury Society and with the BC Brain Injury Association. Some of the associations in BC do peer support, some of them don't have the capacity, but Nanaimo's been doing it for 7 years in the hospital, and their program is excellent. And I was inspired because I'm like, that is an excellent program, helps people in the hospital to transition. I wanted to, you know, understand it and then, you know, build out from there. That's
great, thank you. And Kevin and Ronny, why did you say yes to being part of peer support, and what motivated you?
Yeah, so I said yes because I wanted to connect with someone who has gone through the same experience as myself, and as to why I joined peer support, it's or what helped me with peer support was not only to raise awareness for those that have acquired brain injuries, but you know, I wanted to be able to share and give back and strategies and be able to help someone else who has gone through his or her own experience. So I would definitely say that's the what and why.
I am actually, a volunteer with the Nanaimo Brain Injury Society. My mom and I, we made the trip over on the ferry today, and it's one of the most impactful and really powerful aspects of peer support for me is not only in those acute stages of my own recovery, but continuing on. What does life look like after? And to be able to share my own lived experience and what I learned the hard way, potentially, to share that, it gave a sense of purpose to a life that really changed quite quickly. And that, for me, was really that ongoing part of my recovery is community and giving back. And like we mentioned as well, and volunteering in the hospital is such an incredible experience. And I really, it helps me more than I could ever imagine to help someone else as well.
That was great, thank you. And I think, as you say, after brain injury, everything's changing so quickly. And often when we try to recruit participants, they can be a little hesitant as to why they should take part because everything can be so confusing so quickly. So what would you tell someone considering peer support after brain injury for the first time?
I would say it's worth a shot. And it is so scary, especially, you know, that first Zoom call where you haven't met them and you're trying to come up with a way to even open up the conversation and you're meeting a stranger for the first time. But I would say you've got so much more to gain than you potentially need to lose in that situation, and go for it. Community has made the biggest difference for me.
Yeah, that's really well said. I would definitely echo that as well. That it's community. It's about connecting with someone else. Honestly, it's what I've written down in preparation for this is, you know, it's better to speak to someone. You have, you know, more more to gain than to lose about this experience. And what really helped me that I'll share with all of you is that it's better to be paired up than to internalize all of your thoughts and fears. I think that was one of the huge elements of this program, was just being able to talk to someone else rather than just keep it in. Right?
I might just add, we've heard those two videos, those two stories, well, three people, the Hayden and our video. There can be so much uncertainty after brain injury, like what life will look like. Will somebody be able to walk again? Are they going to be able to talk? Like, the future is so unknown and uncertain. And peer support is something that somebody can connect and have community, offering hope, a potential, what future might look like. I would say, like, the best teachers are people who've gone before and had that experience. So that's the benefit of peer support.
I think, Kevin, you already touched on impactful moments within the program is being able to share, but are there any other impactful moments that the panel has had during the program?
Yeah, I would say, as I said on the last question, not internalizing, being able to share, but just being able to connect with another person on this recovery journey. And I would say, we could share about anything, whether it's family, partners, friends, our hobbies. We connected on a lot of different things. I'd say even our hobbies, for example, we love to hike and we love to stand up paddleboard. We love education as a whole, and we enjoy continuing to learn. So I think those are all benefits from the program.
I think one particular really powerful moment that came out of peer support was actually after the 10 weeks had finished, and I get a message very deep in my Instagram DMs. And it's like, Kevin. And he's like, is it okay if I message you? Like, I really want to continue and I feel bad just ending. And I was like, yes, I did it. And that followed up with a picture of him paddleboarding. And it's just, I cried. It's powerful. It's really cool.
I was going to ask if there are any unexpected benefits, but an unexpected DM sounds like it. But for the next part of the outcomes of peer support was developing awareness and resilience for life after brain injury. Did the program help with any of these aspects, or if they did, how?
Oh, absolutely. I'd have to think really hard to even be able to pull out a con of the program. I don't think it exists. But and for myself as a volunteer and seeing other volunteers with MBIS as well, as continuing, having something to have purpose and a sense of helping, that is the ultimate reward for sure. It's hard to,
I would say that knowing that there's people around at all stages of their recovery journey that can be reached, whether it be through the peer support program or different advocacy groups, the support is out there. I would have to say that.
I won't answer that question because I can't, not being part of it. But I think in terms of impactful moments or something that's like an unexpected success is how committed people were for this program. So we had community partners, people from GF Strong here to help recruit and contact people for brain injury. And there was a lot of a huge team, our research team who's helping the project along, and there's a lot of commitment. But also for our peer support workers and participants in the study, they were committed for 10 sessions every week, 30 minutes. It's a lot of commitment, and for somebody with a brain injury to show up, to make sure they're on time, log into Zoom, that's a lot. And I think that speaks to the benefit that people were having. And we did a couple studies. We did like the quantitative and the qualitative, and there's a lot of the qualitative as in like stories and people sharing about their experience. There's so much richness in the stories and the messages that people shared for that.
Yeah, it's so cool because this is my job. But for you guys, this is the volunteer aspect, and the fact that I send like 10 to 15 emails a day and you guys respond to all of them is amazing. But for our last set of questions, let's think about the future. Julia, what do you have planned for the future of the project? This is my PhD.
Take over the
business.
world. I mean, this is Janna's PhD, so you can answer that very well, but I will do on your behalf. So I mentioned that this was a small feasibility study. We do want it to grow and expand, and we have ethics submitted, and working with the BC Brain Injury Association to broaden this out. So not only in GF Strong, not only in the Nanaimo Hospital, but in Prince George and Kelowna. So we have partners in those cities that I mentioned, and we're training new peer support workers, which is very exciting. And we hope to we are rolling out from the research point of view, a provincial peer support program. So Janna mentioned we have funding for that, which is really exciting. And so we're paying our peer support workers. Exactly, yes. So we have funding, which is great because we can pay our peer support workers properly, and we can pay the community associations to be part of this. But that is a 3-year funding, so it will end in 3 years, but we don't want the peer support program to end. So we're building it with our research funding, and our hope is that we can create something sustainable. So then, we have not-for-profits that are part of our team, and they rely on funding from government or from other not-for-profit organizations. So we hope to show some benefit, show that it's already working, and then the funding and the money and things will come. That's the hope.
Yeah, it's been amazing to build this community so far, including Akemi, who started that round of applause. Thank you. It's been great to build, and we really hope it continues. And then Kevin and Ronny, what's next for you guys?
Yeah, I would say honestly, it's a great question. It's something that I think about fairly often, and as horrible as this accident was for myself and my partner Dae, it's really given me a new perspective on what's important in life. So I would have to say, just spending time with my partner, with family, with friends, like that's the first thing. Like, and I think I said at the beginning, it just changed my perspective. I was just working so much before the accident, and it really has shifted that a lot to what matters most, which is family and friends, and of course doing the things that I enjoy, and slowly getting back to. I enjoy hiking. I enjoy stand-up paddleboarding, as we connected on. I just got back to surfing a few weeks ago, which was really nice to be back out in the water. With a few friends in the audience. So yeah, there's a lot of amazing positives to look forward to, and I would say it's really shifted the perspective, right?
For me too, since my injury, it's very similar to Kevin too, a change in perspective on the pace of life and just slowing it down. And for me, whether it's been a forced slowdown, something, or just trying to make the best of what's going on. But for me, next steps is continuing my gradual return to school. I've been accepted to Bachelor of Science in September, coming next year. And it's just one step at a time, keep moving forward, really. Thank you all so much.
show up for friends and family, and the friends and family have most definitely shown up for you. It is so cool to see. And then to end off today, let's talk about the perceptions and actions people can take when considering brain injury. So for Kevin and Ronny, how do you think people should act and best support individuals who have experienced a brain injury? And further, how can others support the loved ones of those who have experienced a brain injury?
For me, speaking so much is just meeting the person where they're at and also slowing it down. One step at a time, and just everything changes so quickly, and I think that as much as we may wish for it to change back just as quickly, the change is gradual, and it's patience was a bit of my mantra going through the first couple years. Just be patient. The progress and work will pay off, and to caregivers and survivors and friends and family, it's that patience that's really important.
Yeah, so the question being just how can others support those affected by brain injury, being the victim themselves and as well as their loved ones? I would say empathetically. Like it's really, really important just to be empathetic with the situation. And as we learned watching the video before our video, that everyone's on their own recovery journey, and everyone is unique, right? And so when the accident happened with my partner and myself, it was really, really heavy. And I would say, there were situations where Day, my partner, and I, we heard really, really negative information around us, because I don't think people were empathetic with the situation in that sense. Like there were times where I heard that my brain's never going to recover, and I'm not going to get back to where I was before the accident, or I'm not going to get back to work again, and those are really, really hurtful things to hear. And further than that, it was, there were situations like relationships are more likely to end after a traumatic brain injury, and that was really, really heavy and hurtful to hear, and not just on myself, but on myself and my partner as well here. And I have to say, it's just the future is unknown, and we just need to be more focused on the present than the hypotheticals and where we're going to end up, and just really, really appreciate each other. So,
Final question for today. What do you think people should know about brain injury, and how do you think they should act around people with brain injury? So I know you hit on that a little already, Kevin.
Yeah, I would say it's a continuation of how people should act, and empathetically. Earlier this year, my partner and I, we went to a film premiere. I think it was actually in January this year, called Invisible No More by Gabriel Mate. Highly recommend that to anyone who hasn't seen it yet. And the title says it all. Being that this brain injury is an invisible disease. And at the movie, I learned that there's a bill being passed across Canada to establish a national strategy on brain injury. And so I think it's just so important, and it's so amazing to hear that it's going to be a lot more well known across our country. So.
In the theme of brain injury, I've actually forgotten the question.
What do you think people should know about brain injury, and how do you think they should act around people with brain injury?
It's a tough question, because I wouldn't say there's really specific way you should act. To go in without judgment, to go in without predetermined expectations and really meet the person where they're at. And because like Kevin said too, it's an invisible injury, and to come in with an assumption or an expectation of this is what this person can do and this is what this person can't do might be more harmful than helpful. And I think, knowing, or not knowing, but knowing things can improve, and there's change, and there's so much hope that, yes, I'm tripping over my words, but there's hope, and there's, we'll stop it there before.
Yeah, going in without any expectations, but having hope for the future. I think that's a great answer. Juliet, you want to answer?
It was just the same thing that you guys were saying, but like being curious. I'm rewatching Ted Lasso with my kids, and that like moment where he's like, "You need to be curious, not judgmental," I think is very relevant for brain injury as well, because people might have a brain injury, but they don't look like they have a brain injury, and they might be struggling with balance on a bus, and they might need to use your seat, but you don't know that. So it's about being curious and not having assumptions. And I just wanted to say of the bill that you were mentioning, Kevin, it's Bill C-277. There's a lot of momentum in the brain injury community in BC in particular right now, driven by community partners at BC Brain Injury Association, and us researchers are kind of along for the ride and supporting where we can. But that bill is in the health committee right now. It's passed the House, the 2 votes, so it's coming along. There's a charter of rights for people with brain injury that the community has developed, and that's at the back table if you're interested. So there's a lot of momentum. It's really encouraging, very positive, and a lot of hope.
Is there any action that the audience can take regarding the bill?
Not you, no. But our politicians, let's hope they act. Yeah, thanks.
They can act their vote.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, panelists. This was very informative, and it's great to hear the outcome of the program and how it turned out for both of you.
Thank you for your interest. For more information and for updates on our lab, find us online on our website or on LinkedIn and through the QR code.